All right, let's get into the Greenland and the RIP and the seamless steel and these types of things, as we have the cannabis market and the Chinese and Mexican and Russian mafias and such going in and putting in grows. And we also got the oil people from Texas and other places going in and starting grows. And we got the Oklahoma being known as that hellhole of America. When you're from Texas and such, that's one of the nicknames it has. And since that Saint Nick is here for that Holy Spirit, the RIP, the Home Depot buckets, the cannabis or the cash in the buckets, the green, all that is kind of tying together. And then you got your Greenland, and then your blockchain, your Silk Road, your crypto, those types of things, your dark rooms, your closets, your secret stash, all those things coming into a light and being tracked in one way, shape, or form. And Trump says he knows where the cartels are and all those things. And you have to understand that since the Patriot Act and these time frames, we've all been tracked, watched, and whatever since whenever. And so the warehouses / concentration camps that the ICE, Gestapo, whatever is coming in and doing, and then the New World Order is already established through the World Health Organization, that Serpent Seed, and the Healing of Nations, and the Trump RX, that's coming, the T-Rex, all these things coming into a light. And your Oklahoma, your Constitution, the Tulsa, the Tulsa King, the Ron Durbin, the Durbin Poison, the lawyer dude, who's doing this, that, and the other. And then also Oklahoma is known as the Wild West. The Wild West begins in Fort Worth stockyards, and the stockyards, the TikTok and all that. The yards is a 3.6 on the 3 feet. The 312, the tri-elves, and all those kinds of things that we've been putting together for you to understand. But that RIP, that Super Bowl, that dragon was climbed live last night, with the 10 overhangs, the Taipei 101, the 101 for dummies. All those things are kind of stacking up as you're in that 47 and the crowning, that mid-deal, that round table, and that's that 101, that computer, the computin, the computter for the 18, the hole-in-one, all these different things. And the 18 is tying into your 8th year, 11th month, 23 days for your 80 feet on your 200-story building, on your average mark. But that Netflix, the no net, the do or die, it's 10 floors, Enter the Dragon. We're in that time frame now that the DEA, the Drug on Enforcement Agency, this drug war that Nixon opened up, that Reagan turned on, as far as light projections, tracking whatever, this, that, and the other, through his tripling the size of the government and bringing in this New World Order and that United Nations and all those things from past, and sealing the deal in a way. And now you're at that sealing the deal, and that Pandora's box is brought over, and whatever else. So the man, I've got so many rabbit trails going off in my head. So those little bad bunnies for that Super Bowl. either way, we got the metric system, the seed to sell. All these things are coming into like a big perspective on the world stage. And the cannabis, the abyss, going down into the lower depths in the water and coming out and such. And that's where your Zelensky and the UAE and all those things, he's going and taking that. He's that trident in hand in some ways. And the Poseidon, the water god, the UAE, the John the Baptist, all those things are all tying in together on those wild times. And John is the sign of his coming, the Don John Trump. So you're in those middle time frames, the 1, 0, 1, the 11, the 47. That's where America goes through that Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And the big D comes, and don't mean Dallas. Don T. beat Dallas for that little buzz. It has that Chase Bank in the keyhole that we've all gotten into way back then, and that Reunion Tower, and whatever else, and that Dallas, and then you got the new Texas Stock Exchange coming, and basically from Texas to the Dakotas, you got that oil pipeline, that Dalaska pipeline in a way, and you're gonna get that reverberation and that shake and whatever as far as a real quake or a fake quake as far as the money and the petrol and whatever. But these things should be kind of a compound effect where you have one and it just is a gas pipeline all up the thing. They're warning you like, hey, don't dig here, or it could be an explosion and it can cause this or whatever. So it's kind of like whatever. But also when we lived in Oklahoma, a couple spots, you hear booms and shakes and whatever else there. And then one being in the mountains was less, but the one on the sandy loam was like shook the whole building and such. But you run outside like, what the hell's just happened? Either way, when you look it up, they got more earthquakes than California. But basically what they've been doing is fracking and loading this soil and stuff down with water, and there's a balance on the earth. So when it gets imbalanced, and then you also have people, when you get on that water slide, it's like a 250 weight maximum, and you're like wondering like, how the hell is this even like working? Especially in certain parts of the South or whatever. But when this weight and things get whatever, you can have that Babylon has fallen, okay, where things sink in and whatever else. And then that oldest mountain range supposedly in the Arbuckles, well, the beginning is declared from the end, so be one of those newest mountain ranges coming, as we've seen this mountain range and this valley called the Grand Canyon and these types of things created. And then the Major League pastime, the dugout, all right, the bunker, and those types of things for your kind of stadium event, and your Bad Bunny and the dress or no dress. It's like the do or die, the changing, not changing, and it ties in your Netflix or whatever. But the rip and the cannabis still, the sheriffs, cops, DEA, feds, all that whatever in certain towns or certain states, and you live in Texas or Oklahoma, you know pretty much all the small towns or even the big ones or whatever, they're all corrupt in one way, shape, or form. So all these things be kind of coming together as those cartels and whatever's coming, and these dark lights and the pole ice, the white horse riders and the horse years, and all, either way folks, it's all going together. And if you've been following along and whatever, these things should be kind of like clicking and get the silver bells ringing, folks, for your Christmas season. And your dragons coming with the 10 floors, the overhangs, and the no net. That's your internet, and some of that is for your the Low West, Low Home Depot, the decks, December, Kansas. It's the Chiefs, the Biden, the deck, Sept. It's on the U-Haul. Our low decks for the God, Us, and Our. Make the May-Key, Our move. The May Musk this year. We got to get out of here. Something's going down. The March started yesterday for your March Madness. Your June fans, as you preach the woman covered in the sun. 8 years, 4 months, 1/0/1 day. That's a 10. So your 8 month, 4 days, 10 days is coming up. That's your 10-4 alarm that you got in 2023. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the crowning of the 02. And that was when the stuff went on for the Israel war. The Israel war is before you, in a way. And that silly punishment. Somebody broke open in one way, shape, or form. So, where were we? We're on the back of the U-Haul truck there, 24/7. 24/7's coming up for your 74250 crowning on America for the 1776 Spirit, and you just climb that Taipei 1667. So, it's playing with the old boobies. Boo! Ooh. Oh man, that's a bad omen. Yeah, that's a bad omen, because that's the serpent rising up on 80% of the high income, and Jesus, the most high of that hour, of that U-Haul. You went and got that fucking thing? Of that lowest income, right? So these things are all where the serpent's already bitten these people in the China. Those plates and shit are going to start rattling inside of you. Oh shit. That wake and bake, that volcano going off the side of you, that hellbound child. I took the what? He's the what? I'm where? Yeah, we tried telling you, but you got to seek the truth. You're just wound up in the old illusion for the tickling of the ear. And that tickling of the ear is coming for the TikTok, as they're telling you, well, we might need some immigration status or whatever to sign up. As part of the check yes or no, and that no is a numbering. Well, this guy is an illegal immigrant because he's not wanting to do it, or he's against the Nazi fascism regime and all these other things. So expect a big showdown, so-called, in Oklahoma as that Wild West begins, and these open air markets start activating, because you can go to these little like dog swap areas on Sunday and buy whatever gun you want. If you can't get it this weekend, you can get it the next weekend, and this is where you might be buying a murder weapon or whatever else going on. But either way, we'll end it here, folks, because that Wild West show, the Six Flags, those Six Flags, the ponchos, the red flags, those are all kind of lining up as your day 6, 6 years on the COVID, and all these things are interwoven in your futures, and the 8 and the 186 for your King Spirit, whatever else, folks.